I want to talk about, hi,
Pipeline?
Rod, pipeline. Pipeline. How do you keep your pipeline full? Because I'm like having this, again, it's always an issue. Working on the creative as a sole proprietor, working on the creative and then
Having to breathe
forgetting,
while you're
yeah, yeah, not doing the sales, yeah. So trying to get both of those working at the same time. I have a wonderful assistant that definitely helps me with all the projects, etc. Then there's the sales and nurturing of potential clients. So I don't have an answer. I just know that this is something just like I've been talking about because like the projects finish up and then I have to start the whole process again. So I'm looking at different ways of maintaining that connection with the outside world, so to speak, so that I can help people create beautiful home spaces for themselves. What do you got, Elizabeth? What
so
was the
this is what I found to be effective with building the pipeline. You have to always be marketing yourself, even when you're super busy with projects. So whether it's taking time every week to post on social media, promote your business on social media, promote yourself in like the local Facebook groups or whatever you have in your town, be out there networking
taking
and going
notes?
to events. That's what I do. So you're constantly in front of people. So this way, even though you're super busy and like you have a ton of projects right now, you want to always stay in front of potential clients or partners that can recommend you or will you want to be the first person to come to mind when they do have something that could be a potentially good fit. So if you kind of disappear and they don't see you, they won't be thinking about you first. And that's what you want.
Yeah. And so how do you do that? I mean, a lot of interior
Manage your
designers,
time.
yeah, a lot of interior designers are sole proprietors working alone.
Mhm.
I'm luckily have an assistant and then I, hire some nines if I need extra help.
Yeah,
Are you time blocking?
I
Because
do.
so how do you decide how to time block? Because
Okay.
I've been thinking about time blocking and I'm like, okay, well, Monday I sit in my office and I try to catch up all the paperwork, all the trades or whatever communication. And then I want to do that for the rest of the week. I'm like, but then I'm like jumping around like a bouncy ball, like trying to figure out how to get that to work. So I'm taking notes, which is why I'm not looking at the screen anybody, but I'm looking down here because I'm actually writing notes.
Okay. So I find it most effective when you time block, you're going to schedule times to whether it's either working on a specific client project or office work, whatever it is. But if you make sure that your phone is on do not disturb, you will be 100 times more productive
Mm,
to the schedule because it's very easy for someone to send a text or a question and now you read it and you're so distracted and or like maybe it's something urgent and it's like, oh my God, okay, now everything you do stops and you change your focus to something that probably could have waited if you didn't pick up your phone.
yeah, I mean, nothing like, come on. We're not this isn't like, it's not brain science, right? Stuff can wait. Unless it happens to be a job. Somebody's on a job and they didn't answer right away, but, like, how often does that happen, right?
No, you have to put your phone on do not disturb, period.
Okay.
Because if not, you're going to be way less productive.
Yeah.
And then what I try to do too is based on how my week is going, when I'm scheduling in advance client appointments or days that I know I'm going to be out of the office. So I
Yeah.
try to stack appointments.
Yeah.
Say I want to be in the office working 2 days a week, and then the other 3 days I can be out client appointments, networking, events, sourcing, all the things. I stack my days. This way it's more productive. Like I know tomorrow I have 2 events, I have a meeting, and a client asked me to source some products for her. So I was like, okay, great. I'm going to add that into my Thursday and just stack my day rather
So
than let me go tomorrow. No, because today I'm in the office today.
okay, so let's just say, like, this is interesting because 'cause I'm, like, trying to figure out how to do the time blocking to make it most effective. I like the do not disturb, although, like, I gotta close all the apps on my computer too,
Yes.
right? Because
You have to.
it gets crazy.
Yeah.
So, did you start with like, okay, I have client projects, I have financials, I have videoing, I have or content making. Did you start with a whole bunch of like categories for work and then decide I'm going to do that on Monday, that on Thursday, this on, and then put that in for the
Mhm.
time blocking, then try to like you say, making appointments in those
Mhm.
spaces. But of course, things
Yeah.
happen like a networking or an event happens, and then you're like, okay, so you start with the blocks already for the week, and then you try not to move those blocks. Or if that block, for instance, I have 2 hours of office work on Wednesday, but this event came up on Wednesday, you push it. And so the event comes up. So you push the block down to allow space.
Mostly the events are gonna come up first, right? So whatever you book in advance first
N-
sets the tone for your week.
right. But what I'm talking about is this.
Okay.
I have a week. It's like, I'm not sure how I want to say. I just know like on Mondays I try to be in the office, right? But
Yeah.
I also know that I have to be out, I have to be sourcing, I have to be networking, I have to be, like going to events and stuff like that. So, but I also want to say, okay, this is a time but it's not just like being office work. Office work is also actually working on the client project, actually working on financials, actually working on
You
content. Like,
have to be specific about it.
right. So so is this what you do? Like I'm just trying to imagine how I get better at time blocking.
Yeah.
Like what I was thinking is that I have an open week. Let's just say an open week. And
Yeah.
then I say, okay, every week I need to do 2 hours of content making. So then I decide, okay, every Monday or every Tuesday at 3 o'clock, I'm going to do content making from 3 to 5.
Mhm.
And then every Thursday, I'm going to do billing from 12 to 3. Let's just say, right?
Yeah.
And then Wednesday mornings, I can make appointments for anything. Like Wednesdays are always client appointments. Like maybe I
Yeah.
don't need to have a client appointment, but it's client appointments. So the
Right.
only thing I book on Wednesday is client appointments. Cause now I'm finding like I'm doing podcasts, I'm
Yeah.
doing this, and
Yeah.
like all that stuff is like, when am I booking I'm throwing podcasts in here and there. So like I'm jumping around. So I'm thinking,
Have a podcast day.
yeah,
I was just on someone's podcast. They send me their calendar to book the date, and they do podcasts on Thursdays, every
only
Thursday.
Thursdays. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking I have to do.
So you just have to set your schedule to make it
Yeah.
work for you, right?
Yeah.
And, like,
So,
I always book my schedule out, like, 2 weeks in advance.
right.
So, like, this week, obviously, is all booked up. Next week, I already have a bunch of stuff booked, so I know when in the week I can add something extra if something
Right.
comes.
But say for instance, like there's something comes up, right? So it's an event or it's a networking thing, something that is more involved than just me in my schedule. Like the networking is now like it's a special networking event. It shows up at 3 o'clock. Or maybe it's a lunch and learn, 12 to 3 on Thursday, which
Yeah,
normally is when I do this other job. So
correct.
I booked it out 12 to 3 for let's just say that was client projects on Thursday. So now I have that block. Do you push that block to another spot and then say, okay, now I can put that in there, but that block doesn't disappear. It just has to be moved. So, okay, so I'm not going to be doing client projects from 12 to 3. It's going to be 9 to 12 and I can put the networking in here, but I don't just disappear that block. Is that
No.
what you do?
Yes, because
Okay.
the networking and the events, you're gonna know that more than a week in advance.
Yeah, but I'm talking about just generally, like you say, only on Thursdays you schedule podcasts. So I'm saying, well, okay, every Thursday I'm going to have this time blocked out for podcasts that I schedule. Now, not every week do I have podcasts.
And
So,
it's not gonna be all day either.
right, it's not going to be all day,
You know what
but
I mean? So,
like
maybe
as I'm scheduling podcasts ahead, like I've got a couple podcasts here, a couple podcasts there. I'm thinking if I only keep Thursdays for podcasts, but then that week I just don't happen to have any podcasts scheduled, then I can have that time like open up for other things,
yeah, of course.
right? Like as I'm going like week to week. But I'm just thinking, do you start off with a week saying these are, and then I'm going to start plotting things in? Like, is that
I
what you
do
do? Or do you do it week by week? Oh, this week I'm going to put 2 hours here, 5 hours there. Cause I'm thinking that what I need to do is I need to do like a general map of my week. Mondays, these are the times for this. Tuesday, time for this. And then as things come in, as I book it ahead, I'm like, oh, well, that 2 hour block is gonna like I have to go on site and meet trades on Thursday.
so that's the day you're out of the office.
Yeah, but maybe I can't get any other.
Appointments in the office that day, and then do your sourcing, do all of your errands and stuff on Thursday when you're already out.
Right. But what I'm saying is that sometimes it's Thursday, sometimes it's Tuesday. So I don't like what I'm finding falling through the cracks
'Cause you're
is
way overthinking this. I'm gonna tell you right now that's your problem. You're making it way more
no, no,
complicated
no, no.
than
I
it
mean,
needs.
I'm just saying that
Exactly,
no,
that's
but
why
this is what I'm doing exactly what you're saying. I'm going week by week, and I'm, like, putting it here, putting it there, putting it here, but then what happens is that, like,
but you don't have a rhythm, and it
that's
seems
what I'm
like
saying. So do you start with your rhythm already planned out, like it's here, and you try to fill in those spots for podcasts, blah, blah, blah. But then something happens. Like you got
Mhm.
to go on site to meet somebody for the trades, right? And
Yeah,
they can't do the Thursday window because that's the day you've decided for on site stuff, right? That's the day
yeah,
you decided. But they
right.
can't do it, right? You can't get everybody there. So it's Friday. So now you take that window and you flip it over
It's
there.
Friday if Friday works into your schedule. If it
Right.
doesn't and you have something scheduled like a podcast or a meeting, it's not gonna work. And so I feel like this is what we do too sometimes. We try to change all our schedule at the last minute to accommodate things sometimes that will need to wait.
Agreed. But
Unless
then
it's an
I'm
emergency.
saying that you have to start with the schedule already booked out
Yeah.
in blocks.
Your schedule should be booked out and blocked 2 to 3 weeks in advance.
Right. And I fit things in as I go. I fit them in as that, oh, I have to schedule a podcast next week. It goes on Thursday because this is my podcast. So
Right.
you already have, you've already time blocked your week,
Yes.
right? And then as you're going ahead, this is the same week in and out, no matter what. But what happens is that as you come, like the client can't meet you. Like if you're only doing client meetings on Wednesdays and Thursday, but the client just can't meet Wednesday, Thursday because they're out of town, only can meet on Friday, then you take that regular scheduled blocks and then you
Mhm.
push them around to fit. Is that what you do? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, if it works for my schedule.
Right. If it works for your
'Cause
schedule.
like I said, when I'm booking my schedule a week or 2 in advance, like, my schedule for next week is pretty much blocked up. So if
Right.
somebody wants to meet me on Tuesday, and I'm with a client in Captiva all day on Tuesday, and then I have a dinner, which I do, I can't meet you on Tuesday. No matter
Yeah.
what goes on, it's
Right.
not
No
a
matter what. Right.
so I I can offer you this alternative.
Right.
Because
Yes.
also too, you have to schedule breaks for yourself. Because if you schedule too many things back to back, you're running late, you're burnt out, and it's just not gonna work.
And for our designs, yes, we do take questions. We're in the middle of discussing of how to make this work because I've been trying to time block, and Elizabeth is sharing her time blocking. But if you guys have any questions, please jump in. How do you plan your schedule for a week? That's what we're talking about. How do you plan your schedule for a week? And I'm trying to figure out how Elizabeth does it, and I'm trying to figure out in my mind how, like, the way I'm doing it is just too. I hear what you're saying, so I'm like, I need to
What I've realized is, for me personally, I like to have a day out of the office than the next day in the office.
a day in the office the next day. Yeah, I mean, that's
Doing it. Like, instead of being 2 to 3 days, like, back to back running
right.
around, not in the office. So you
Oh,
gotta,
God.
plan it that way too. It's whatever works for you personally that
Right.
you feel the most productive. Like, I feel like
Right.
on Mondays, I like to be in the office on Mondays and start the week getting organized rather than Monday morning, I have an appointment and I'm out the door.
Right. Like, I agree. I'm Mondays, I try to keep in the office, but I think what I need to do is that when I'm in the office, I'm time blocking that is, okay, first thing I'm doing is I'm dealing with, like, whatever it is. Like, the first thing is work on, like, 3 hours dedicated to client schedule project,
Mhm.
right? The next
Yeah.
2 hours is content making, 3 hours is sale, whatever it is, like, and I blocked that out, so it's the same every week,
Yeah.
but I can move those blocks around as things come up. Like maybe a client says, look, I can only meet Monday in the next month. That's the only Monday I have. Well, then I have to then rethink that whole week or that Monday. But I
Exactly.
can't lose those things that I normally do on Monday, right?
Oh, you have to fit them in somewhere
Yeah.
else. Exactly. Otherwise, your stuff is gonna start to suffer. Like,
Well,
I
that's what's happening.
used to book early appointments all the time, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning to meet with people. What I've decided is I don't want to have meetings that early. I like
Right.
to start my day a different way. So now I try not to schedule meetings like before 10 a.m. because I don't want to have to start my day rushing out the door, sitting in rush hour traffic to get
Right.
somewhere at 8 a.m.
Right. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what I try to do is if I do have an early meeting because that's, I've got to meet the contractor there and they start at 8, right? I'm preparing that the day before and my car is packed. So all I have to do is get up and get going. I'm not like, okay, let me pull it all together because that just never works.
Yeah.
Got some questions here. Will you take any questions? Yes, we will take any questions. What's your design inspiration? How do you plan your schedule for a week? We're just talking about that.
Yeah, we did that
But
already.
design inspiration, that's a good question because
It's way too broad.
what's your design inspiration? Well, my design inspiration is my clients. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what
that's
I'm
it.
saying. It's based on the project and the person.
Absolutely. Like, as I'm talking to the client, it's not, it's not like I just come in and decide. Like, there are some clients that do that, like Kelly Wersler, Vincente Wolf. These designers have a specific style. Clients that are going to them are saying, I want your style. Actually, I listened to a talk by Vincente Wolf about this. He's like, and then they start telling him what to do, like, not like this, I want that. He's like, I'm not here. I'm here. You hired me to do this design, like, the way I do it. If you hire Kelly Wersler, you don't need her to do, like, a Joanna Gaines style. Like, that's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
Joanna Gaines does this style. You don't hire Joanna Gaines and expect her to do like, want her to do Kelly
Maximalist.
Wersler,
Yeah.
right? Totally different. But
Yeah.
for me, I find that I do a variety of projects. Always starts with the client. It starts with what the client wants, their aesthetic, and then it starts with the client, what they need, the function for their space.
Exactly.
Elizabeth.
I agree. Starts with getting to know the client. Again, I do have a style that I like to design with. So once I find out what their inspiration is, I kind of merge them both together.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, because I like color,
Yeah.
clearly. I
Me
like
too.
pattern, right? Yeah. But even if it's like I have a client right now that likes not as much color, there's a little more subtle neutrals. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's layering those textures, the
Mhm.
patterns on. So it's like, like the pattern on pattern in the same color, like a damask, right? Which is
Mhm.
but like a modern day damask. Right. So it's like, okay, I'm still getting texture, interest, dimension. It still has that play on in the design, but it's not like the color that you see here in my office, right?
Exactly.
How do you get clients? Says architect Munium. How do I get clients? Referrals? And weren't we just talking about this?
Marketing, media.
Marketing, social media, being present. Number one way, which is really helpful that if you're going to do anything, this is what I would suggest is your Google business profile. Make sure that you are interacting with that regularly. Post pictures, post FAQs, post links. I don't know, whatever you can do on that, because when you're in your Google rankings, the more attention you pay to it, the higher you'll rank on Google. And Google reviews, you got to get your Google reviews.
That's what I've been working on the Google reviews. I try to go on the Google my business, but I sometimes I forget, but I do try to I know I need
Oh
to
my
update it
gosh.
more, but that's a good point. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Sorry, I went AWOL for a minute, but I thought I turned my phone off, but apparently it came through. But yeah,
Okay.
Google reviews, it's so helpful. And I've been like, now I have a whole system for getting Google reviews. That will definitely help. If there's one thing you do and that's free.
Mhm.
That's not free. You got to put time into it. But that is really key.
Agree.
Yeah. And then we just talked about networking.
Yeah.
Networking.
Networking is super important.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many business networking groups, and then, you got to find people that you can help
Yeah.
because it's really about service,
Yes.
helping
Either
others.
targeting the clients that you want directly
Mhm.
or getting involved in the trades. So your builders, architects, contractors in your area, different trades,
Yeah.
building those relationships with them. This way they can be a referral source for you and you can collaborate on projects. That's the most important thing. There's so many different ways, but you kind of have to do all of them.
Yeah,
So
you can't just do one, but just,
yeah.
you know what?
You got to be
Just start
everywhere.
start with one and be consistent. Add another one, be consistent, but don't let go of the first one. Just
Yeah.
kind of keep stacking one on top of another. Most important, instead of trying to do what is that kind of gun that a shotgun, which hits everything with 1,000. No, you want you know what a shotgun is?
Yes. But how does that make sense?
Well, because a shotgun is you do one fire and it sprays all this pieces of bullets, right, in a shotgun, and you just do that once. That's not what you want. You don't wanna keep spraying, like, a little bit everywhere. You wanna be targeted, like, one. That's what I'm saying. Okay, whatever. It makes sense to me, and that's all that's all that matters. It makes sense. Because I think, you're not just gonna fire it once. That's my point. You're gonna keep firing, and it should be directed. If you don't have a target, like, you will never hit your goal. Okay. You like it?
Yeah. Do you follow any software for site execution, or what software are you using for interior design? That's the next question.
For designing, I don't I mean, I hand draft, but I also have people that I, use AutoCAD
Mhm.
and, rendering. They do rendering for me.
Yeah.
I don't always use it because it's an additional expense, and clients, if they want it, yeah, I put it in there, but most of the time they don't need it, like.
Yeah. And I use House Pro. There's a lot of features in that software for mood boards and for doing 2D renderings, so floor
Okay.
plans, things like that. I
Yeah,
use
I mean,
too. And it's
yeah,
a
I
good
use
project.
my Doma. Okay, I use my Dome as a, like, design platform, and that houses all the information for the clients. The pieces, the pictures, like,
Yeah.
all the information about the piece, the price. I put their files in there, contracts, inspiration photos, whatever. You can put lots of files up in there, and then I also from that platform, I can directly email trades, get pricing. You can even use it, and I don't, but you can use it to communicate with your client. They have a wealth of
Yeah.
features in there that I don't use them all, but I
Yeah.
do use that for organizing my projects.
Yeah. And there's a ton of software out there. Everyone just needs to find the one that works for them because I know it took me a while to find what I like, and so now the program I have, I love, and there's a lot of other programs that I just think are more complicated and extra steps, so you just gotta find what works for you, but there's a ton of
Yeah.
resources.
Well, my Doma was bought by Studio Designer, and Studio Designer is
Okay.
another platform, right? I was on my Doma years ago, and it wasn't so complex. Now they've, like, totally blown it up, which is great, except that I don't use a lot of the features because I'm I just have my own way of working, right? So
Exactly.
that's just the way we work, but we talk about design issues, how to, design business.
To get clients, fill up your pipeline is what we were talking about today.
Yeah. Actually, Elizabeth and I we'd been talking for a number of years. We met and we have the same mentor. And so we started talking regularly every week. And then we thought, well, we could share this because, man, it's so helpful. To know that you're not alone, especially as a small business owner.
Mhm.
Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I'm like the only one going through these problems or having these issues. I don't know, where to get some good advice. And so Elizabeth and I have shared, like, what we do with each other, how we do it, all the issues impacting a interior design, small
Yeah,
interior designer,
and we help each other.
and we help each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it feels like, okay, I'm not alone.
Exactly. And if, like, one of us is having an issue with something or, like, how would you handle this?
Yeah,
What would you
exactly.
do best? And so we bounce feedback and ideas off of each other, and it's really super helpful.
Super
So,
helpful.
share it with you.
Yeah. So that's what we're here every week as much as we can be. We'll be back next Tuesday. If you miss this, you can go to my YouTube. I load up Design Tea, although last week I didn't because what happened was I didn't tape it properly. I
Technical
mean, come on.
difficulty.
Come on. Yeah.
Okay.
How to find a mentor in the same stream. You know what? I'm going to tell you that you don't need to have a mentor in interior design.
Mm.
You need to have a mentor in business. Most interior designers
We're not good
start
at
their
it.
business because you're great interior designers. Like, I'm a great interior designer. They start their business, but then they realize that it's not just interior design. It's like, it's a business. And
Mhm.
so any business mentor, any business coach can definitely impact your business, like, positively, because you will be applying so many, like, business
Yeah.
practices
Yeah,
that
you need to know sales, marketing, finance.
operations,
Exactly.
financial, managing.
Mhm.
Um,
The
yeah,
list goes on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth and I, we had the same
A mentor.
yeah. We were working with Grant Cardone and his group. We
Mhm.
love Grant Cardone, so we have the same mindset, which helps
Yeah.
in terms of how we run our business and how we see our business. Thanks, Jennifer. She says we look great. Well, that's 50% of the 50% of the work that we had to do today. Yay! You look great, you feel great. You're in a great space,
Yes.
you feel great. That's what we do as an interior designer. Like, you cannot feel good if you're in a depressing, boring, ugly room.
Exactly.
That's why interior designers are so important because we bring the beauty into your home. And that's the values. People can't do that themselves. So many people are not visual. So many people are not attuned to the aesthetics and how to achieve that.
And they're depressed and unhappy in their home, and they don't understand why, because most people don't understand, but your environment really affects your mood and your mindset and everything. So that's something that we work with the clients to transform their spaces to make them happier.
Yeah, absolutely. So know your value because that is a huge value. I know that my purpose in my life is to bring beauty into the world and I do that through interior design. And I've got great clients that appreciate that and and other people that are not clients they appreciate it too because I put out a lot of information, look at the YouTube, even just doing this you can learn something if
Yes.
you don't know about design, but it's so important in our world. Like seriously, I was looking at this Instagram video probably. And it was talking about how modern day has completely stripped all the beauty out of construction,
Mm,
out of out of buildings, out of spaces, right? And
yeah.
that it's become like even if you look at our schools, like they're not beautiful.
Right.
They're like they resemble prisons. Yeah. Like why? How is that inspiring? How do you make a child feel creative, feel like thought provoking when you're in a cement block? These are like this is why that's why we have museums. I mean, but our museums should actually be our schools because that's where the beauty is. And
Yeah.
that's what makes you, that's what inspires you.
Yeah, and also, like, when you walk into any kind of a store, what to shop, like, as soon as you walk in, whether you like it, you like the vibe, it's fun, it fits you. It's the
Yeah.
same with your home. It's creating environments. So even like yesterday, I went to Miami, went to this new showroom that just opened for flooring. Incredible. The showroom is gorgeous.
Right.
And it's just about creating spaces. So anyone that walks into this showroom is going to fall in love with it, fall in love with the products because it's beautiful. The way it's set up is very easy to
Yeah.
shop. Yeah. Lighting is great. So you're going to be more apt to buy. The
Right.
people are nice. It's about environments.
Absolutely.
Now, if you walk into a space that is like depressing, I'll walk right out. Like if it's a store environment, it's,
Or a restaurant.
I'm walking right out.
Yeah. Or a restaurant or anything like a gym or a
A
spa.
hotel,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, you gotta look at, and then you gotta extrapolate that because
Mhm.
then you got to think of yourself as the environment. Like as an interior designer, like what are you offering your clients? Are you presenting yourself like in that way that showcases that, unless you're not a luxury interior designer or you're not doing luxury, you're doing, I don't know, what are you doing? Like Walmart design, I don't know, but like you want to present yourself as that experience. It's the way you present yourself. It's how your process too. That has to be easy and stress-free and, available so the clients will want to indulge in that. They want to be part of that. So it's not just this aesthetic thing, but it's also like your whole operations.
Yeah, there's so many details and so many different layers that go into it. And that's
Yeah,
why it's such a complicated process that we try to make as easy as possible.
exactly. Easy and beautiful. Easy and beautiful, not complicated, like, easy to see, easy to understand, and it's beautiful, looks beautiful, it comes across, you're gonna show beautiful pictures, beautiful inspirations, you're not gonna show the crappy, picture you can't see, it's all blurred, I mean, that is important.
Yeah, exactly.
Architect Munin says, "Are you more into residential commercial projects?" I am do more residential, and I'm moving into doing some more commercial.
Yeah. I do both. I've started in commercial projects, then when I opened my own business, I focus more on residential, but I've always done both and I do like to do both, so.
All right, I think we covered the gamut. I think we've covered the gamut. If anybody else out there, otherwise, we usually chat for about 30 minutes,
Yeah.
get a little like heated. Any luck with collaboration, DM me or Elizabeth if you want to talk collaboration and let me know what that means and what we're talking about. Um,
Okay.
we will be back next week. We can't promise Tuesday, but that's what our goal is, our
Oh, that's
intention. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. We're trying to be better at that kind of thing, but
we're time blocking, but sometimes we have to make a little
we have
adjustment.
to reblock.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So yes, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.